because when the roof caved in and the truth came out, I just didn't know what to do. But when I become a star, we'll be living so large that the second UK Puma HC-1 supply helicopter will no longer use fuel. And this was said in the song Jason Derulo by the band What You Say. So, as you may have ascertained, this is now Integer's YouTube channel, not mine. So here we have Integer playing second UK, which many people used to say was the worst division in the game, myself included. I'm guilty of this. But then, after the Puma HC-1 supply helicopter was fixed so that it no longer consumed fuel while moving around, second is now the best division in the game. So, Integer playing second UK against Tiberius-Rancor playing 39Y. Both of these players are sort of top 10 on the ladder. The ladder is not a good proxy of skill, but it's the best we've got. What else can I tell you? Both of them play in tournaments. There is few other ways that I can tell you about how good these players are, but they're both in the top 10, and that means something. And Tiberius playing 39Y, which basically he used to play a lot 5E, and then when he wanted to enter tournaments, people were banning his division. So he is now very good at 39Y. He plays 39Y all day instead. And that's fair enough. So let's talk about the map, and then actually let's do some deck reviews. Then we'll talk about the map. Then we'll talk about the game. I think this is going to be a deck review game. Why not? You should learn about second UK and why it's so OP now. And 39Y is also a very meta division, and both of these players are very, very good. I would say that they're about as good as me. Which you know, I'm obviously the best. Anyway, let's just move on. Deck reviews. This is the deck review for second UK played by Integer. So we'll go through it tab by tab. And I play second UK a lot as well, so I have a lot of things to say about this. First tab, first problem. Puma HC-1 supply no longer uses fuel, that's why second UK is S tier now. So I'm not sure why Integer has taken the decision to bring the Chinook supply. Could it be because this has 2000 supply and 12 HP, 70 points, 3 availability, for a total of 6000 supply in the card? Or is this Puma HC-1 supply also has 6000 supply in a card, but on a cost basis, 2 of these is 90 points and 1 of these is 70. Could that be the case? Regardless, the Puma HC-1 supply no longer uses fuel, and that's why second UK is S tier now, so I'm not quite sure what's going on here. Bedford supply, you kind of need this, right? You can't get the helicopters in everywhere, so you put the helicopter at the back, and the Bedford will drink from the helicopter and then give it to its children or whatever, you know, like birds. Anyway, let's move on. Robe of CP, so your choices here, right? You could get the 100.1, and this one's pretty fast, but it will die to howitzers and stuff, whereas a Saxon, you only get 2 in a card, but for 5 points more, you get armor, you get... So speed's the same, you get twice as much HP, don't worry about the machine gun, that doesn't do anything. But the idea is that this also gets smoke. So you can drive into a zone and smoke without the mortar, you don't need it. So that's pretty useful. So I actually bring the Saxon CP. SAS, you need to bring these. It's useful bringing them in the Saxon because of how fast it is, like the Bedford's slower. You can sell the Bedford, obviously, but the Saxon's got the armor, it's got the smoke. It's just better. You need to bring it in the Saxon. Milan 2s, Integer takes the decision to bring a lot of things in Lynxes. Now, why, you may ask? Well, on the bigger maps, you'll actually get the Lynx refunded before you get the refund from the car. And they are a little bit faster, like you've got to take off and land, sure. But they are a little bit faster. You're paying a lot more up front. You're paying 2.5 times the price of the Rover up front. But you could just get into places that you otherwise wouldn't get into. And if you've seen the games that Integer played against Helljumper, this is of course an Integer channel now, ever since I jumped out of that window, you'll see that he was dropping the Milans all around the sides and stuff into buildings and generally being annoying, and that really helped him out. So, 2 cards of air mobile. In the Lynxes, 1 at 2 vet, 1 at 1 vet. I guess he's realised that he needs more than 12, but he needs less than 18. So that's why he's done it this way around. Air mobile, not bad. I mean, it's 60 points, quite expensive, but the lore AT is good. I mean, let's do a comparison, shall we? Air Mobile, 60 points. Rifles, 55 points. So you're paying 5 points more for like one more guy, which, you know, you can come up to your own conclusion about that. And then something like the Aeromobiles, the French one, they get a better rocket launcher, but they get a worse MG, but they get one more man. And so it's very difficult to work these out. I've had a lot of conversations about this. I used to think Airmobiles were overpriced, but, well, maybe not. Maybe not. Because, yeah, obviously infantry small arms not very good now, but once they do become good, then there should be a distinction between 2 MGs and 1 MG. Also, the Appalachian one shot a vehicle with 7 armor, whereas the Lore 80 can't. That's the difference between that 1 AP there, so that can be useful if you're up against Leopards, right, because they're at 7 armor. Or T55s, I believe, are at 7. I might be wrong there. Anyway, we laboured the point long enough. No, that's the wrong one. There we go. Assault Pioneers in Lynxes, so this is another wacky one. You know, sometimes you need the Assault Pioneer right there. And there's always a trade-off between Terry Pioneers and Assault Pioneers. Terry Pioneers bring one more man, and they're cheaper, and they're the same availability. So I prefer the Terry Pioneers, but they don't come in the Lynx, whereas the Assault Pioneers, yeah, they get one more MG. That doesn't matter right now. They cost 5 points more. Availability is the same now than it used to be. But you can get them in the Lynx. L6 Wombat, this thing is really good. It's cheap. I mean, it misses a lot. It misses a lot, but because it's 120 millimeters, it really packs quite a punch. Look, it's like as big as that guy's head. Standard dudes in Lynxes to cap zones. Interestingly enough, right now, don't know if this will be the case forever because I think it is a bit bullshit. If this Lynx gets shot down, the guys inside will survive. So you could just suicide into a zone and take the zone. Because, yeah, they'll survive. They'll hit the deck and then they'll cap the zone. Arm rifles in the Warrior Milan, only 1 card. I mean, this is very... So I play it with 2 cards of these, but Vintage is all about this mobility, right? It's all about this mobility for him, and so he only needs 1 card of these. And Terrier AT Group, this is a really good unit for its price. If it kills 1 transport, it pays for itself. You just sort of chuck it everywhere around the sides, all around the back, stuff like that. Just try and be annoying. And then he does bring the Terry Pioneers anyway. Bedford, I guess, if he runs out of Assault Pioneers. Britain does not get napalm throwers or flamethrowers because we think it's dishonourable. But don't read up too much about the Falklands War or what happened in Fallujah. 120mm, white phosphorus, by the way, if you don't know what I'm talking about. 120mm mortar is a lot better than the 80mm, but it is more than twice the price. 81mm. And then, yeah, so this thing's really shit. It's really sad. It used to have a salvo length of 6, and that made it somewhat usable. But, no thanks, mate. Right now, the salvo length got changed, and it's just in a bad place. I mean, I'll show you. What was it called? The M2... No, it wasn't the M270. M1 something. Oh dear, I should have looked at the name. I'm wasting that. The viewer retention's going down. How am I going to make it big on YouTube if you get bored? And then, where's that American one? Still looking, just bear with me. So, the M109A2, obviously the HE is worse, right? But it fires more. It aims faster. The HE is 0.37 worse, so it's really not a big deal. The range doesn't matter. And you get 2 in a card on the Paladin as opposed to 1 in the card with the M107A2. So yeah, M107A2 is just like more expensive, it's just worse. If you got 2 in a card, I think it'd be a reasonable thing to consider bringing, or if that salvo length went back up to 6, but apparently it shouldn't have been 6. So yeah, it brings 4 of these. Probably because the points, yeah, it's like 1 point here, so where else would you spend that? I guess you could get some more A. Might actually be worth doing. Tanks. So you get 3 cards of challenges. You get 2 cards of regular challenger and 1 card of the challenger command. So you'll get 1 challenger command. Your light tanks are really bad. It's like now that these are reservists, they're just really bad. It's really difficult to use these properly. You might as well just bring more warriors instead of one of these. Or, you know, some Iltis mines, some rover mines or something. But yeah, in terms of these guys, I like to vet them and bring 4 instead of 6 because Like 6 is a lot. And at 1 there, they're kind of useless because the whole point of this is that it's got high armor. But if you're getting stunned straight away, then you can't take advantage of your high armor. You might survive, but you can't actually shoot back. You just be running away. You're routing, whatever. Sniper, these guys are alright. Sniper's really strong right now. They're not as good as the DMR guys, but second doesn't get those. Jaeger-AFTClearer, I really like these guys. They've got 11 strength for 70 points. Actually, never mind. I bring air mobile scouts now because they've got 8 strength for 45 points. Same availability as well. Wow, lots of machine guns, doesn't matter. Machine guns don't do anything right now, really, in my opinion. Bringing it in this is interesting. I don't like this because it's slow and it's got mediocre stealth and it's got 1 armor, so it just dies. And like the optics are good, but it just dies. If it had good stealth, it'd be cool, like this. The Fox, you only get 3 Foxes per card right now. It's very sad. You get 4 Luxes, 4 AMXs, but only 3 Foxes. But it is very good, right? There's a reason it keeps getting nerfed. It's got good stealth because it's so small. It's only got 1 armor, but it's got smoke, and the radar's pretty good, and it's amphibious. So yeah, it's a really useful unit, and always bring a recon helicopter. These guys for 50 points is pretty rough. These guys for 30 is pretty good, but no AT. But he's probably got enough recon infantry here anyway. AA tab, so javelins, 35 points. They're manually guided now, which is a shame, but the accuracy is really good for its price. Only 4 HE, which is also a shame, but that's enough to kill gazelles. But yeah, the accuracy is good for the price. But you have to keep line of sight. And then the rapier. So what's going on here? The rapier FSA is a bit crap right now, because all the AA ranges got buffed, but the FSA one didn't really go up. And so, you know, you get what? 300 meters extra range for 40 points, and you lose 3 availability. It's just not worth it, really, is it? With these, though, the manually guided guys, once the target is 1 second out of range, the missile will miss, whereas for radar, I believe it's 2 seconds. I might be wrong. If anybody knows, please tell me. Please write a comment so other people can see it. The tracked rapier is better than the regular rapier because, you know, it's just like, it's a bit more expensive, but gets 8 missiles. The stats on the missiles are the same. The advantage with the regular rapier is that you can pick it up in a helicopter and drop it behind the enemy and piss them off. Helicopters, Gazelle rocket's really good. You got it. The issue is they die in 1 hit to like any AA unit, really, any missile AA unit, and so you got to be really careful with them. Integer likes to blob them up and just chuck them in at a key moment in the fight, and if he loses the ball, or if he loses half of them, it's not too much of a problem for him as long as he wins that fight. So it's like a one shot or what have you. I like to use them in pairs and use them on the back line to protect my back line, so nobody can ever infiltrate because my gazelles are just there, and I'll poke them forwards occasionally. But they're both, you know, they're both viable strategies. Lynx Hellam for 80 points. This is rough, man. So the regular Lynx Hellam is pretty good. 50 points you get toe in the air. It's not bad. 6 HP means it'll die to a lot, but not everything in 1 hit. Like, no man-pad will kill this in 1 hit. This guy for 80, that's rough. Let's talk. So you compare it to something like the bow power. So, you know, 55 for a well, 65 for a better missile, but it's 4 HP, so man-pads will kill this in 1 hit, whereas they won't kill the Lynx in 1 hit. So it's a hard one to sell. How much is 2 HP worth for you? I don't think it's worth 15 points. Speed's the same. ECM's the same. Let's have a look at some other ones. Gazelle Hot. Gazelle Hot 2, 55 points. Hang on. What's that one we just looked at? Hello, Eugene? What? Alright. That's very sad. I mean, the bow gets 2 more hots. Wow. But it's also slower. And it costs 10 points more. And this is the comparable one. What a joke. What a gaff. Anyway, let's finish this deck review. This is a really long one at this point. Jaguar cluster, really good. Really good. Really good. Phantom F3, really, really, really bad. You use this to supplement your AA forces. Interestingly, it says very good here, but when I checked it in-game, it only said good. Weird. But But yeah, it's slow. If you could get in range, the missiles are good, but the issue is how slow it is. You will never intercept, and it's got no gun, and guns are pretty useful right now, pretty OP. Harrier Rocket 1, so what's the difference here? The Harrier Rocket 2 has more rockets. But there's something about supply cost. I don't know if the supply does one weapon at a time, or if all weapons simultaneously. So if it does all simultaneously, then the supply is going to be the same. The infrared missiles can be useful, so you could use this Jaguar rocket to kill helicopters because of the Aiden 30, which is the same one the French get, I believe. I believe that's the Defa 30. And with the missile, and because of how slow it is, it'll definitely get it off, and he brings 4 Jaguar clusters. You could bring the Jaguar HE. This Tornado, I mean, sure, but like, why is it so expensive? I don't understand. I mean, it's got good stats. It's got really good stats, but you know, yeah, I want to bomb something, and I'm not taking it out to dinner. ECM's the same anyway. Well, what do you need? Do you need exceptional air optics for? I mean, this is like a sort of pseudo ASF. I think it's still way too expensive. So that's that. Sorry for dragging it out. Right, so here's Tiberius-Rancor's deck for the game you just saw, 39Y. He builds this a little bit differently to me as well. Interesting. Very interesting. Let's go through it tab by tab. So, yeah, 4 CVs. Your choices aren't great here. The helicopter one some people like bringing because it's 80 points, so you could just sort of chuck it at a rear zone. Depends how many CVs you have in total. I do this, I bring those. But then he's got 3 cards of supply, so 1 card of the 20-point armoured one, so it's slow, but it's armoured, survives artillery. Sorry, 2 cards of that. And then this one, truck, fast, carries more supply, but easier to kill with artillery. Infantry, 2 cards of BMP3s, 2 cards of BMP2s, all at 2 vet. So let's talk about the BMP3. It's very good, but it keeps going up in price. It used to be like 50 points or something. The cannon only shoots at infantry. The autocannon shoots at infantry and armor if you get close enough. And it's got good ATGM and it's got 5 armor. It's really good. It's the best IV in the game. The issue is it's now also the most expensive IV in the game. Well, I think it always has been. Now it's very expensive. So you got to keep them alive, and that's why these come in at 2 vet. It's more about the IFEs. Oh, you do get 9 of these. Okay, whatever. And then the BMP2 is the one that you can afford to lose because it costs 20 points more. Right. Sadly, I cannot compare these because of the way this works. It's just not doing it for me. So you're just going to have to believe me. And BMP2 is better for fighting infantry, right? It's cheaper. Conkers is obviously not as good as the other ATGM, and the infantry killing power is not as good because, like, look at this. It's the same. I'm trying to work it out. Salvo length 5, salvo length 5, 83, 83. Yeah, so the autocannon is the same, but the thing is this tank gun as well, and the extra armor and the ATGM. That's why. Hang on, the autocannon is not the same. This has 3 pen. Wow. Suppressors it's the same. Sorry, I probably should have checked this before the deck review. Anyway, these are the cheaper guys, right? And you can, you know, so I take 3 cards of BMP3 and 1 card of BMP2. You know, some people just take BMP3, some people just take BMP2. You can do it however you want. OP, original potassiums. They're this Russian anti-tank squad. And they're really, really, really good, but the strength is low, so you use them in a combination with other units in the forest. You use them in combination with the Saperi RPO. Also, BTR-60PB is a great fire support vehicle, particularly if there's no IFBs around. This KPVT will really help you kill infantry, so I always use this as well, as opposed to the trucks. Saperi RPO, they fire their napalm launcher, make the enemy move. If they come up against a vehicle, the OP kills them, and there should be some motor Strelky to bulk it out, and that's your forest fighting force. Conkers, BTR-60PB. Conkers is a good ATGM. It's not as good as a TOW. It's not as expensive as a TOW. Or a TOW 2, whatever. Most Cherokee Metis are actually amazing. The Metis is great. It fills this really good niche of like a medium range ATGM. Minimum range 350 meters. And yeah, the BMP 1P is good. Might as well bring that as opposed to the MTLB, because you can't sell the MTLB anyway, so for 15, you could consider this to be 15 points as opposed to 35 points, if that makes sense. Because you have to buy this anyway. SPG 9 trucks are really good, really difficult to deal with. They used to have good stealth. It's mediocre, but they're still good, and apparently they're extremely resolved. They used to be a bit cheaper as well, but yeah, they're still good. You use them, you send them around the sides, use them to shoot flanking roads, use them on exposed flanks, etc. Artillery. The Uragan's really strong right now, so yeah, 2 Uragans, and that's why he's got the 3 supply. It's for the Uragans. The issue is he's got no mortars. He's got no way. He's not got any howitzers. He's got no way at all of deploying any smoke onto the battlefield. He's either firing an entire Uragan salvo at something, or he's doing nothing. And so I don't agree with this at all. I think 1 Uragan's enough, and I would just get some smoke mortars like this. These are really good. My personal opinion, we're about the same skill levels, so whatever. TATBVs are kind of broken right now. TATBVs and M1A1s dominate the meta. It's all about spamming those out as much as possible. So yeah, 12 of those. That's what I do as well. I think I might actually bring 16. And then 2 command tanks. The TATBV command tank, 20 points for a command. It's weird. Some of them are like 20 points more, and some of them are like 10 million points more. So like this is 40 points more than the TATB, but that one's 20 points more. I do wonder what the thinking is, or if it's just not being got to yet. They used to be 100 points more, which was stupid, so they're definitely better now than they used to be. And the T62M1's a really good medium. I think I might bring the T62M. I can't remember. I might bring the Repairer. Whatever. It's a great way to get some extra ATGMs. For 10 points more, you get this 2,800 meter range ATGM, which makes it useful in the open, but you get less of them. I personally, if I brought this, I can't even remember, I'd bring it in max vet, because do you need 12? Recon, Razvedka, KPVT truck, very good combination. The KPVT truck has stealth and optics of its own, and the Razvedka 4 men, 50 points, RPG, etc. Motorized Razvedka in the MI2T. So, what's going on here? You're going to sell this helicopter, right? This one is way faster. So why wouldn't you bring in that one for 10 points more? Depends. If you've got some opening strategy set up that you need because you're going to get the points back anyway, right? And it's got 8 HP, so it might actually survive. Whereas like an OSA will kill this in 1 hit. It'll take 2 hits to kill this. Recon helicopter, always bring a recon helicopter. This one has exceptional optics. This one's only very good, and this one's only very good, so I bring this one as well. Other notable mentions, these used to be really strong, but you don't really see them anymore. Sad. Grenzers, they don't have, they don't have an AT option, that's why they're cheaper. For 7 strength. AA, so he brings 8 cubs, which, it's a lot of damage. You really only need 2 to shut down the entire map right now because of how broken they are. And yeah, I prefer something like an OSA. Dealing with helicopters, stuff like that. Because yeah, the Barusa's a bit crap right now. Iglas are good for their price. AA, so sorry, helicopters. 2 AA helicopters. These are the good ones. I like these a lot. I bring 2 of these as well. And then, oh, he brings 3. I thought you only got 2. So he brings 3, so that's cool. But what if you need to shoot ATGMs at somebody from a helicopter? What if there's an armored push? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're going to bring an SC-25 AT, because he brings 4 of those. And the SC-27S still doesn't turn like as much of a brick as it used to, but basically it's really expensive because of all these missiles it brings, but like, when do you need that? Sometimes you do. Sometimes you do need it. I wish it turned way more nimbly. I mean, I feel like it's the most nimble fighter that the Warsaw Friends commie boys ever made, and yet it's not as nimble as like this, which I never saw before Wargame. But yeah, that's just how it goes. So that ends that deck review as well. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the map. 2 ways. Fuck, it's actually 2 lakes. I'm just going to re-record that, cut that out in the edit. This is 2 lakes, and it used to be a very blue-favoured map, but since then a lot of things have changed. And the reason it used to be a blue-favoured map is that the forward deployment troops on blue used to start like here. Something like that. And they would just go straight into the town and they get into the town before Red's troops would get into the town. So that's been fixed. They start further away now. They start way further away now, I believe. I think. Um, and what else has changed? So Alpha's still the same size. Delta's gotten a lot bigger, which doesn't help Blue. And Bravo's gotten a lot bigger, which doesn't help Blue. And because of this, the map is now more balanced. We don't know if it is balanced, but I think it's way fairer than it used to be. Blue actually really has a hard time defending Bravo now, because if you take this house, you could put CV behind it. And you could just sort of smoke this and just put a CV there. It's really rough for Blue. That's about it, really. There's 2 towns. There's 2 lakes. There's 2 spawns for each team. There's 2 Mi-2T motorized Razvedka. Not sure I agree with that. These are the really slow helicopters. For 10 points more, you can get the faster one. And you're going to sell it anyway, wouldn't you want it to be fast? Anyway, let's talk deployment. So, the boys in blue, Integer, playing 2nd UK, best division in the game, now that the Puma HC1 supply no longer uses fuel. And he's opening... What? Okay, yeah, SAS going over there. 39Y does not get any recon forward deploy, sniper team, airborne bullshit. It's actually the only top tier div that doesn't. It still gets, you know, standard recon forward deploy, but it does not get the airborne forward deploy, to my knowledge. They might get a really bad unit that nobody brings. And so these SAS might actually make it. Thing is, 2 AA helicopters, 2 regular helicopters. This one is very optimistic. We'll see how that goes. But hey, we're talking about Blue's deployment. So 4 SAS going all the way up there. We'll see how that goes. Backed up by 4 Foxes also going up there. So if this works, Alpha's gone. But I don't know if that's going to work. You got to keep in mind that this is like this is a huge point investment. And what? Right. So presumably that's the Rover Milan's doing that. Yeah. Okay. So we've got Rover Milan's from Integer, and it looks like all 4 of them are going. No, hang on. I've only selected one. Yeah, all 4 of them are going over here. Yeah, all 4 of them are going over here. So we've got 4 SAS, 4 Foxes, and 4 Rover Milans. No supply, though, which is a shame. I mean, I honestly would take 1 less Rover Milan and bring a supply, because, I mean, this is a huge force. You need supply. So, L6 Wombats. Let's get rid of these Rover Milans. L6 Wombats going into the town. Quite a conservative deployment in the town, actually. I would expect you want to take this, you want to take this, you want to take this. But full defense. The sniper as well, going really conservatively here. I'm not sure what's going on there. If you're watching this Integer, let me know. 2 more Foxes. These are more like it. So this would stop any rush coming down this road. And this one could also help out with that. 3 Rover Milans, and yeah, that's in a good spot. These 2 are also quite conservative, which is fair enough. You need them to use a range. If you get to here, then obviously you're not using your range, and so if you're up against a tank, it's just going to outrange you and kill you. 1 Gazelle rocket, I guess he had 20 points left. And only 1 CV. Only 1 CV. Very different to what we usually see. On the red side, Tiberius-Rancor has 2 CVs. 1 going to Charlie, 1 going to Alpha. On the left, he's got some Razvedka taking quite defensive positions, because he doesn't know, like, the SAS will get to here before the when these guys get to here. So if he went for this, he might die. He doesn't know where the SAS are going to be. And yeah, 2 motorized Razvedka in the slow transport. 1's going over here. Because of the way the helo lands, this is a bad idea. You wanna try and like land it here, because it's gonna get over this. It's gonna fly over this like a melon, trying to look for a landing spot, and then that's gonna waste precious seconds. But we know that nothing's going over there, so he's gonna be okay. And 1 going to here. I'm not sure. I mean, I guess he just brings it in the helicopter, so he has to do that. I'm pretty sure the car would be faster for this one, at the very least. CV for the middle, spoke about that. And then lots of defensive units. So 2 Cubs to shut down any and all airplay in the whole game, because Cubs are broken and Seed's bad. Rest assured, Eugene does know about it. It will be fixed. So 2 Cubs to shut down all airplay, and a supply for the Cubs. And then we've got some OP. What are they called? origami potatoes. These are like an anti-tank unit. They're a really good anti-tank unit. So 4 strength, 30 points. Compare it to Terrier AT. They're a lot better, and they come at high vet as well. You get... Actually, no, they don't. Never mind. So yeah, these guys are going to here, and so yeah, typically you get a Saperi and then original potato. And you send them to here, so that's what's going on with that. Saperi's going to there, OP's going to there, 2 BMP. Motor Strelky, so he's going full defensive. He's going to take it slow, take the game nice and slow, defend this hard, and then presumably go for this later. Meanwhile, Int's going for a wacky attack play, which I don't think is going to work. I think the Mi-24s are going to kill him when they're in their transports. He's not got any AA apart from the 4 SAS, so 1 miss micro, this all dies. No supply. Surprised by the lack of supply. 1 less rover, 1 more supply would be really cool. But if this works, game's going to be over pretty fast because Tiberius isn't going to be able to get into Alpha with his reinforcements. So yeah, let's see what happens. I'm going to start the game now. So I've been trying to think of a good catchphrase. I don't know, I used to say that things were an unmitigated disaster or an unparalleled success. I've noticed I say a lot, that's a good catchphrase. And I also say, so they're off. I'm not going to say that this time. I need a new catchphrase so that I can become famous on the internet. Well, let me know if you can think of any. I don't understand why this guy's being deployed here. Oh, I see. It's because of the church. That gives really good visual. So yeah, I'm a melon. The church now gives you... Ever since they added those high-rise buildings, this now gives you more visual range because you're in a church and so on. So, yep, he's changed his mind. 4 stingers, 1 hit. That's pretty unlucky, but this thing's like wasted. That was a misplay. No, he should have. It's not getting out. Yeah, he shouldn't have done that. He should have just kept it Q hit and just hoped it hit a missile. Like, there was no way that was getting out. Having said that, probably wouldn't have made a big difference. Gazelle rocket gets wasted by this Mi-24. There's no AA here. And yeah, over here the Foxes are now absolutely wrecking face. Inter just loaded the Saxons back up and is now continuing. So it is working. These guys haven't been repathed. This guy hasn't been repathed. This guy has. I mean... Like, these guys, no, you shouldn't be going there. You know this is down here. You need to protect your reinforcement. He's not reacting fast enough. Not reacting fast enough. We got the Rover Milans behind. So, great play from him. I'm not sure how he's going to resupply these units. Maybe he will use the Puma HC1 supply that no longer uses fuel. But now he can't get more people in because of this, so he'd have to go through the forest. So he loses 2 of his Rover Milans. A crying shame. 3 of his Rover Milans. Surprised that hit anything. Harrier going for... that AA helicopter. See, these cost the same price. Oh, mate, you shouldn't have pussied out. Should have just gone for it. Tiberius on a +2 because Int went 1 CV, which is reasonable when he's trying to do this meme push. And this is just getting worse and worse for 39. For Tiberius here. This once these guys get in your backline, man, they are so annoying to deal with, especially as they bring their own AA. Like, if you're sending this guy over, it's not going to work. Yep, so 2 hits out of 4 shots there, which you'd expect because the accuracy is above 50%, and also they get the veterancy bonus. And he loads them back in. Shame about this guy. This guy's probably going to suffer a similar fate, depending on how much is loaded here. But Fox destroyed by this guy. Is he going to go for... No, he's got a turn. The Harriers turn like bricks. It's really sad. It's really sad. That's one thing that could really buff 2nd UK up if the Harriers just got a good turning circle. We'll see what happens. Because, yeah, it's supposed to, you know, if this turned, like, better than an A10, that'd be really cool. I mean, keeping it around when you know that there's Cubs there is probably not a good idea. But the Cubs are getting wasted on the buildings. They need to be here, but if they're there, then the Foxes kill them, so that is difficult. Close to coming for the Cubs now. Oh, no. He's got the CV next to the Cubs as well. That's, you really don't want to do that. You do not want your CV next to your AA. But the CV somehow survives. Took splash damage, cohesion damage, but not actual damage. And, yeah, Tiberius is panicking here. This is not the setup you want. You want recon infantry on the ground and not the helicopters, because the SAS keep blowing you up. And you want infantry. The infantry goes first and the rest of the guys move up. And you keep in mind that you are actually still even. Just don't panic. 2 more cubs. Those are his last 2 cubs. You get 4 in a card. At 1 vet. Chinook HC1 supply instead of Puma HC1 supply. Integer, please. I realise that it has better supply and more HP and is more cost effective. But the HC1 supply no longer uses fuel. Unlike the Chinook supply, which never used fuel. So, yeah, why aren't you using the best unit in the game? Regardless, these SAS are now running away, which is actually really smart, because eventually all these T-62s will win. Because even if you put one guy here, you know, you can go around, he can bomb you. So yeah, moving them out is really smart. Keeping these guys alive is basically the entirety of second. I heard one guy say that a great way to up second would be to give them 2 cards of SAS. I guarantee you that if you do that, they go from bad to the most broken division in the game. Sort of like how Zentrum gets 8 FS Jaeger Metis. It's just not fab at all. I don't think it's good. Do not give them 2 cards of SAS, please. I'd love to just see some general price decreases and what else? Maybe make the Lynxes a bit faster, because the Lynx is the fastest helicopter in the world. It set the airspeed record. Fastest helicopter in the world. It is already quite cheap for its price. This is something I've been discussing with a lot of people. But yeah, over here, Tiberius is pushing without recon, and now he's got this problem, where the Rover Milan's killed 1.5, and... now he's sending Lynxes, and there's no AA here. I mean, the Cubs, right, but no Igla, but... I would have 2 less T-62s, right? Say 85 points. I have 3 less T-62s. 1 recon guy on the ground. 1 infantry in a BMP-2. And 1 AA like Strela. And then, yeah, playing around this is really difficult for Red once Blue gets in here. Because, yeah, he just keeps sending recon helicopters. This isn't going to work. As soon as these guys notice and unload, which you... What's going on there? SU-27, not what you want to use to shoot down Milans. You want to use the SU-25. Shoot down Lynx AH-1 Milans. Fox moving forward here. This is going to get some good kills, and Tiberius has taken this. So this is a real oversight on Integer's part. Like, he's taken this, that's good. He needs to take this, and he needs to take this, because this is bad for him. Milan on this road won't hit anything, but presumably he's going to move it up. And these SAS are going to wreck face with their rocket launchers. Oof. I mean, I saw it hit, but it didn't hit. I don't know. Maybe they hit each other. I believe that can actually happen. Somebody let me know if I'm wrong. I'm wrong a lot, by the way. You shouldn't take people at face value. You know, when we do these deck reviews, you got to use your noggin, right? There's some serious noggin jogging going on over here. Once that Fox kills that, if he goes through here, there's nothing there. But you know, losing this is really, really bad for Blue, and like this stuff's still loaded up. All the micros over here right now. That's now damaged. These guys should finish this off no problem. Why is he moving forwards? I think it's because there was a fire. Chinook supply was destroyed by this T-62, so that's bad news. That's really expensive. Not like the Puma HC1 supply, which is cheaper and no longer uses fuel. This guy's still sticking around. Not the smartest idea. Yeah, just fly over 4 Stingers over and over and over again until they hit you. And all 4 SAS are still alive. This is looking really bad for Tiberius. But what the hell's going on over here? So you know when you place a unit, you can click the card, click Y, and then click the building. And it will unload when it gets to its destination. So you don't have just guys in the open just dying. Yep, so he knows that there's 2 more Cubs up now. And we see arm rifles moving up quite conservatively, but he doesn't know what's waiting for him here, like he doesn't know what's here. And quite rightly, Tiberius has advanced into that and cut this line here. At this point, some real panicking, although this will soak up all those Milan shots. And yet another recon helicopter as opposed to some recon infantry. This isn't going to work. It's a helicopter. These guys all have Stingers. Not sure what's going on over here. I guess he wanted to snipe this, but I mean, this is very problematic for Integer now. If this just drives in here, nothing can actually kill it. Like these wombats, why is that there? It should be here. Yeah, Terry Pioneers obviously don't have anything. So the Milan gets 2 SPG-9s and then just retreats one building. And more SPG-9s. Over here, the Saxon's being used to great effect to kill the Saperi RPOs. Saxons are a really good vehicle for 20 points. The MMG's bad and it only has 300 rounds, and that's a crying shame. I'd love to see that change. Both in its range and in its amount, if possible, but obviously I'm not in charge. But it's got 1 armor on all sides, really fast off-road speed, and it's got smoke. Makes it really good. But yeah, Tiberius advancing here. I mean, I understand that he doesn't want to just YOLO it, but if he did, then he would actually get in there and just smoke and just take the zone. Because, I know there is a CV here. Integer buying more. Wombats, could use one here, could use a recon helicopter really. And Milan 2's dropped by the Lynxes. It's worth noting that on these bigger maps, you actually get the Lynx refunded faster than you would a car, and it deploys faster, so don't sleep on helo-borne units. A lot of people sleep on them. They're really good. They're just situational, right? And you're paying more of an upfront cost, which is big. Another Chinook supply here. I believe he only gets 2 of those. He might get 3. This is in a good spot for stopping helicopters coming over here. I hear a Harrier. It's a Jag. So he sees that. That's interesting. Probably with this. Like, this could be over here, I suppose. You got 2 here. Yeah, but it's easy to nitpick. I mean, you know, if I casted any of my games, then you'd see. Or you can check out casts of my games on other people's channels and you'd see how many mistakes I make. Just like chucking air at the same thing over and over again. And that exploded and didn't do any damage. This guy eats 2 javelins and is now going to fly over all those. Yes. No, he's not. Oh, he gets the Gazelle on his way past. Nice play. Yet another recon helicopter without recon infantry, so you'll never guess what's going to happen this time. 3rd or 4th time in a row. Does he not see what's going on here? Ah, here we go, yep. I don't know, man. I mean, it's easy to get, particularly the first time you come up against a wacky strat like this, it's very, very easy to get tunnel vision. But the 2nd time, the 3rd time, you can plan it out. There's also a bit of a bug with units not moving into buildings that they're right next to right now, I've noticed, like this guy. It's not in there. But, you know, for all his gameplay, like, Integer's doing really well, but he's still not got any points. I would love to say, just about to say this, a mortar and a CV, and just mortar this and just chuck it in. That Rover Milan from before is now 2 vet from all the kills it's got. Unless they were coming in at 2 vet. No, they're coming in at 1 vet. It's got so many kills. The way it works, I can't remember, but basically, for more veterancy, you have to kill multiple times your unit's cost. So to go from 1 to 2 is easier than to go from 2 to 3. I can't remember the exact numbers, but yeah, it's harder to upvet more expensive units because you need to kill more points worth of stuff. So something like a challenge is very difficult to get. Tiberius has noticed a big hole in Integer's forces here. Rapier, 65 plus 20 for 85, whereas the tracked Rapier is 95. I honestly think the tracked Rapier is just better. It's like way better. Because it can move around faster and it gets 4 more missiles. So the reason Integer brings these is because you can actually put one of these in a helicopter. And fly it round to the back of the map. You can't do that with a tracked Rapier. It's a shame, but you can't. But yeah, I would love to see... I mean, he's taking it slow and steady, isn't, and I don't blame him. But yeah, he's still not got anybody here, and here we go. Tiberius now doing things. No recon, though. The recon's here. You need recon with your tank. You need AA with your tank. Barusa, fair enough. That's AA. So yeah, you got 1 recon unit here. No recon here either, apart from this Jaeger Arcler, which is finally in the building. But yeah, no recon here. could use a recon unit here, like 100%. One here would just be fantastic. But all those foxes died and they haven't been replaced. Link's Helm, 50 points for an airborne tow. It's alright. I mean, comparative like HOTS and stuff are better. But that forces Tiberius to use his smoke early. But yeah, once he gets here, you know, he will start capping that zone. Oh, okay. But yeah, Spag right now, not amazing, but also helicopters, you can't withdraw them once they start getting shot at, so you just sort of have to sit around. Here we go. Birusa was shooting at the helicopters, and there goes that T-80BV. I see him do this a lot, so he'll use things to bait out the AA, just go for full AA saturation. I mean, it's probably a good job that second doesn't have seed. It would be really cool if it did, but you know, it's already a S+ tier division because blah 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 blah. Puma HC1 supply. These guys aren't unloaded, so yeah, these guys are 25 for 4 men and a Carl Gustav. See, the what the flip are these called? Aubergine potassiums are 30 points for. You know, they're a bit better, but you're paying for it, right? So obviously they've got the same range, so they serve a similar purpose. These guys have 12 rounds. I don't know what decides that. I don't know who comes to that conclusion. But the Terrier AT group, I believe, have really high availability, whereas the OP don't. From what I remember, these are like guys like 6 or 9, and these guys are 12, or 9 or 12. So it is balanced in a way, and you're paying 5 points more for the better RPG. With these cheaper units, 4 models out now from in. With these cheaper units, it's difficult to get the prices right because, you know, there's just, because it's so spammy, a 5-point difference actually makes a huge difference, and things get very close together at these lower point values. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, it's really not looking good for Tiberius. He has to keep reinforcing this. Or at least he feels he does. And meanwhile, he lost his cool strat here. I'd be really tempted to... oh, he's got some more AA. He's got the Cubs over here. Get some smoke. Smoke this. Put the tank in. Easy peasy. You could even put this in. And then there you go. You can test in a zone. As it stands, I mean, he has to spend a lot of points here because he knows that he's not killed anything here. It's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Like, he won't be able to see most of this. I mean, he'll be able to see it now that it's shooting. Love to see these Rovum Lands come out and just start donking these BTR-60 PBs. As it stands, none of these guys can reach. KPVT is really good. Wonder if we've got a 50 cal to compare it to. And yeah, you see the mobility here. CV's finally in. Mortars are up. Are they firing? They're finally firing. Yep, that's good. 4 mortars will mess anybody up, particularly if they're 120 mil. Yeah, I mean, I still think 1 mortar and put this in. Obviously, you can't see what we can see, but once you smoke it, it's dead easy. Over here, these BTR-60s are chewing up this infantry that just can't shoot back because they don't have the range. The air mobiles would, but they're not there. And these Warrior Milans, if you just put them here, they would kill. Oh, there we go. They would kill all these. KPVT is really cool. There you go. See, it's just donking them all. Right, here we go. It's go time. Smokes. So this OP's moving through and he's taking names, so you'll get that Rover Milan maybe. Yeah, we'd love to see some smoke starting to come out. And then move the CV in. But why rush? Why rush? Over here, Tiberius gonna do the same thing again. And he's got the Cubs this time, so the Jaguar won't kill it. So that's a good strat. Gazelle's a lot out of ammo, but honestly, mate, when you've got this many units, it's very, very difficult to micro everything. It's very easy for me to just sit here and poke fun. But it's very, very difficult to micro everything. But you see who's winning, right? Those BTR-60 PBs, as soon as the Warrior came, they all had to go back, and they didn't go back. You got a BMP-3 here, which is good. And, you know, Tiberius knows there's nothing here, presumably. unless it's right here. So, actually, no. Yeah, the only place this could be is, like, right here. So I'd love to see side action. SU-27, I mean, but for a Lynx AH-1, those SAS are still there. Okay, so all the SAS miss. That BTR-60PB died. I think the Wombat, yeah, the Wombat killed it. He just drove down the road and the Wombat killed it. No smoke. No smoke. But yeah, I can understand the wish to just take it nice and easy and not use the smoke. So SU's still up, and, you know, the stingers, man. Right, Integer hasn't been spending his points. So that's 85. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is many points. Many points. It's about 2 minutes worth of income. The Briusa's down. The Cubs are still up. Hang on. But we saw 2 Cubs go down. Tiberius must have 2 cards of Cubs in his deck. I mean, I'd say that's a massive overkill, but I mean, it's this time he needed it. This Wombat's going to go down, which is a problem. So now he's moving to Milan 2 over there. I'll do the job a little bit better. Over here, the rain continues, and there's a supply for him. They're going to run out soon. Still got plenty of ammo. Oh, here we go, smoke. Although now the smoke's not a good idea. I know I seem like I'm a bit of a smoke schizo, right? Okay. When you don't have fire superiority, and you have lots of close-range units, like all these Assault Pioneers and Air Moguls, Lore 80 close range is good, then you don't smoke. But... oh, sorry, then you do smoke. You do smoke. That's died to something over here, this guy, I suppose. Then you do smoke. If you've got close range stuff, you do smoke. If you've got massive fire superiority, then you don't smoke. Although as soon as you find yourself up against a tank, then you do smoke. So it's tricky. It's tricky. Most people just don't bother because they do it and they do it wrong and then they lose. I like to do it, and then if I do it wrong, whatever, you know. Once again, Integer needs to get into the habit of clicking his unit card, clicking Y, and then clicking where he's going, because otherwise he has to manually unload these guys, and that's not on. Presumably these guys are all going to unload now. And the T-62s are forced to move through. This is perfect smoke from Integer. I can't believe it. Who would say this was a bad idea? So this is perfect smoke from Integer. He can move all his guys in now. And the T-62s were forced to go out of the smoke. So yeah, perfect smoke macro from him. That's interesting. It'd be great if these guys were unloaded. So H1 destroyed. The Gazelles, how many are left? 3. It's BMP, yeah, so he's trying to advance over here, but now, you know, now it's kind of too late. This guy's not in the smoke. He's actually at the front. You kind of want all these guys in front of him. Oh no! Alright, he gets donked by 10 million javelins and SAS and a Phantom F3. Mortars have run dry, or at least just not firing anymore. Man, it's so difficult to micro these units. You know, if Tiberius could afford a Uragan, this would be perfect. But at this point, if he buys one, he's going to lose. He needs to buy points to get in here. Just in general, Int's kept the pressure on so well here that it's been very difficult for Tiberius to buy a Uragan. Because yeah, if you just start Uragan in the forest, you do kill things, and it's quite cheap, supply-wise, relatively cheap. Perhaps a little too cheap. Challenger finally brought up here. I still disagree with the one-vet challenges, because they route too easily, so you can't really take advantage of their armor. These SAS are finally having a bad time. Oh no, he's saving them. But yeah, check this out, he's just Q-moved. When you've got that much of an advantage, that's how you do it. Yep. I mean, he's won, Integer's definitely won this. This T-80BB literally just can't shoot fast enough, runs up into a Challenger anyway. Yeah, what more is there to say? The blue wall. Everybody's dead. Interesting. So Tiberius is now going for Hail Mary to try and get in over here. But it's far too late. I mean, if he contests this zone, it doesn't matter. He's lost this one. Would love to see some smoke mortars. Yeah, great use of smoke from integ3r. I was being a smoke schizo. I didn't say it properly. I was like, smoke's a bad idea. Smoke's a good idea. When you've got close range stuff, smoke's a good idea. When you've got fire superiority, smoke's a bad idea. But you can still use smoke to selectively cut people off. Like you sort of half the enemy force. You can also smoke enemy AA and it messes with its targeting. That's really good. And yeah, more smoke out. At this point, a bit counterproductive actually. Oh, he was going to run the infantry across there, that's why he did it, but he doesn't need to now. And he's got that, he's +4. Last ditch attempt from Tiberius. All his points going in here now. These guys still unloaded. I'm not sure about this at all. I mean, it's just a bad idea. These guys still not loaded though. These Phantom F3s are a good supplement to your AA. They are really bad, but the missile's not bad. Everything else about it's trash. Low speed, low ECM, high cost, but the missile's not bad. And he gets 4 of them. Gets 8 missiles total. So they are good to supplement your AA. You'll never intercept anything. But it's good for confirming kills like that. The SU overextended. You send out the Phantom. It supplements your AA. Gets loads of missiles off. Helps to kill a kill. Bruiser destroyed. Oh, that was over here. Right, so the Jag's going for this, but the Cubs. Okay. Cubs miss everything, but SU confirms. And yeah, Blue has definitely won this game. So, 2nd UK S-tier division. Why not? Why not? I mean, I guess he knows it's over and that's why he's doing this, because obviously that's not smart. And yeah, the Phantom F3 confirming the kill with its 8 missiles. Like that's what it's good for. The enemy, when they turn around, you should hit them in the back. The issue is how slow it is. It's really hard to do it properly. It's really hard to do it properly. If you don't believe me, try it. Try playing second. Let me know what you think. Over here, this push is going. Challenger's been buffed up by the rover to 2-vet now, so he can afford to do some stuff. It's BTR-60. There you go. See, he's behind the house, so he can't be spotted. Would love to see some... Okay, so the Jaguar's going, and he's trying to use the Phantom to bait AA, but the Jaguar's in front because it's faster. Alright, it gets hit, but it gets the bomb off, and that's the end of that. But here comes yet another CV to do exactly the same thing. Would love to see a smoke mortar. Don't know if I've said that. But yeah, Motor Strelk BMP, the RPG is not bad, but Challenger obviously, very high armor for its price. And that's GG. That is GG. Well played. So, yeah, 2nd UK top tier division. You just got to keep all 4 SAS alive and then let your enemy run helicopters into your game. Integer taking it nice and slow. I would have overextended and died. But look at it's all about the SAS, man. If you keep the SAS alive and you keep them working, then you win. Or at least you got a better chance of winning. This was that Jaguar cluster that did really well. But if you don't, then you don't. That was that Milan that was at the back. That was that warrior that we said move up and shoot all the BTR-60s, and that's what it did. One back, pretty good unit, actually. Accuracy is quite low, but you can spam them out. 35 points, not bad. Yeah, on Tiberius' side, what did he do well? He used T-62s, which are good. The Cubs were obviously really good. He managed to shut down all the Foxes and the Rover Milans on that left side, but he just couldn't clean out the infantry. And 39 wide does get better infantry, so if he'd bought a bit more infantry and started clearing that like systematically, supply truck behind, 2 Saperi RPO, and what's it called, original potato, to kill any AT, and then like 1 motor Strelky to bulk it out, and you just move through with the supply truck behind. You take You kill a couple, you kill a couple, you kill a couple. Then that would have worked, but instead Tiberius panicking too much, buying way too much air, and paying the price for that. And BMP2 is really good, particularly in comparison to the Warrior Milan. So yeah, SAS, T62s. The mortars obviously don't kill that much, but they're a supplement to your forces. So you shouldn't see the mortar as a killing thing, where it just kills things by itself. But you saw how much work it did in that fight. It really, really helped win the fight for Integer. I don't think he would have won that fight if he didn't have those 4 mortars to smoke and to keep doing stuff. But you see that you can't really see him on the kill list anywhere. I think they got 1 kill. I'm trying to find it now. There you go, 1 kill. But that's not what they're for. They're for suppressing and smoking and contributing. So yeah, GG, well played. Second UK OP.